Hello, all you beautiful people. Welcome back to the channel. I am Exellion. Today we are going over the Witch Doctor on the PTR. Two of the builds that I am looking forward to showing you guys today. Stick around. Spoiler, there's zombie bears. And before I get started, make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel. Click that notification bell as well. Bing! And to let you guys know when I posted my videos and to follow me for some more Diablo content. Comment below what builds you have been enjoying the most this PTR and what you think of the Witch Doctor builds. What do you think of the new Zombie Bears build that's coming out and I'm about to show you? So let's get right to it. Let's show you guys the Zombie Bears build first because it is the newest one. It is the hypest one that people are excited about with the introduction of ASUS Trodden Effigy right here on your screen. The Zombie Charger deals up to 150% increased damage, and the Zombie Bears rune now summons 8 bears that travel further. So that's really cool. It's in theory and on paper, it looks really fantastic and strong. I'll show you guys how it actually performs. We're using Scrimshaw for our main hand weapon. This also increases the damage of Zombie Charger by 7 times, which I don't know why they couldn't have just done 700%. I don't know. And then also 75% mana reduction, which is really good. We're using the Helltooth set, all the pieces except for the boots, because we are using Captain Crimson's for that additional damage reduction and damage dealt. Lakuma's ornament goes without saying. Get that toughness up. Traveler's Pledge with Compass Rose, got to use the Endless Walk. It's fantastic. And the Ring of Emptiness. We are still using the Locust Swarm Pestilence rune, which we'll show you is also used in the next build. And let's just quickly go over what we're going to be looking at in the cube here. So we're using Sacred Harvester for our main hand so we can get that 10 stacks of our Soul Harvest. We're also going to be using the Grin Reaper because there is a chance to summon sort of pseudo shadow clones to help you fight your battle of evil, and they'll use all the abilities that you have in your kit. So it's important to remember they will mimic and echo sometimes the skills you have in your kit. Convention of Elements goes without saying, and the Ring of Royal Grandeur so that we can get that bonus from Captain Crimson's and Helltooth. And last but not least, let's talk about the skills that we're going to be using. Obviously, Locust Swarm with Pestilence, because we have that Ring of Emptiness. Zombie Charger with Zombie Bears, of course, because this is a Zombie Bear build. Wall of Death. This is massively important because if you don't have Wall of Death up, your 6 set is not going to do anything for you. So you get a 17.5 thousand increased damage for 15 seconds after using Wall of Death. So make sure you keep this up. It creates a little buff called Jerem's Revenge. This will last 15 seconds and give you a massive increase to your damage. The next ability we're looking at is Soul Harvest. Obviously, we want that 10 stacks for the toughness. Piranhas with the Piranado. That's going to give us a heck of a lot of CC, and it comes in handy, especially when we pair it up with our Raven Justice, reducing the cooldown of all of your skills for 1 second when an enemy dies within 20 yards. And we're using Spirit Walk with Jaunt, Spirit Vessel, Graven Justice, as I just mentioned, Swampland Attunement, and Confidence Ritual. These are the skills that I have chosen for this build. You can also replace Confidence Ritual if you want with Creeping Death, and this will make your Locust Swarm last almost infinitely. That way you don't have to worry about reapplying it. So let's go ahead and show you guys some gameplay, show you guys how this build works. I'm going to jump into a GR. Let's just do like a GR 80, because as I said, this build isn't really that powerful. It could definitely use a buff. I almost feel like they need to change fundamentally how zombie bears work, because a lot of times they get stuck on walls and they're not doing anything. They're just kind of sitting there, and it's a little frustrating to use. But let's show you guys how it works and some of the power that we can potentially see with this build. So the thing I like to do first is CC everything, get my Soul Harvest stacks up, and once everything's CC'd, I will go ahead and use my Locust Swarm. Make sure you keep using your Spirit Walk as often as possible, and don't forget your Wall of Death first, and it's super important because look at this, you get a lot more damage once your Wall of Death is actually out. CC, Soul Harvest, Wall of Death, Bears, and make sure your Pestilence rune, your Locust Swarm is just always out there rocking. So Waller is honestly the bane of this build's existence. As you can see, it actually blocks my zombie bears from doing virtually anything. So we can get, I've seen trillions of damage in this build. Usually only when the Convention of Elements hits is when I see the trillions of damage mark. In theory, it's a really cool build. It's really great for farming. It's actually very quick. It's quicker than Mundanugu's set for farming and speed running, I think. Because you could just, you know, waltz around, cast your bears, and lay down all the hurt that you can. As long as you have your Wall of Death up, you'll be fine to get through any sort of T16 or anything like that. Now, the second build is one that you guys are all probably familiar with. This is the Mundus set, leveraging the Spirit Barrage skill. And this has always been a pretty powerful build. You can clear G-Rivs probably up to like 130, even 140 that we've seen on leaderboards. It's not the most powerful build we're going to be seeing on the Season 22, I don't think, for the leaderboards, but it is still very good. So let's go over it really quickly. Let's just breeze through it. Let's just show you what this is capable of with the new updates that they've added with the 4th Canized Cube as well as Shadow Clones. So it goes without saying, Mundus set using Spirit Barrage. We're going to be using Mundus Regalia here, and we are also going to be using Vu's Juicer as well as Gazing Demise. This stuff hasn't changed. These are still the same items that we would be using for this build. We will also be leveraging the Belt of Transcendence. Those Fetish Sycophants can come in handy as far as kind of like a meat shield or just additional damage. Lakumba's Ornament. You know, need that toughness, gotta have it. Ring of Emptiness, Compass Rose, Traveler's Pledge. It's a pretty standard set of items. Let's check out what we're working with in the cube. So we've got the Barber, which is also very important. So your Spirit Barrage now accumulates on the target, and because we also have the Phantasm Rune, as well as the Phlebotomize and Spirit of Dwelling Rune, we basically have like every rune almost for Spirit Barrage with this build. So it'll accumulate 500% of the damage to all enemies within 15 yards. So what that means is when I cast one of my spirits, it's going to sit here and spin around, and all the damage it's going to do while it's doing that is going to accumulate. And that goes for all 3 of them. And once a 4th one gets cast, it will make the other one, the first one I cast, disappear and will explode for damage to all enemies in 15 yards for 500% of the damage it accumulated. It is a lot of damage. So that's basically how you use it. What I like to do is pull everything together with Piranha, kind of cast some Spirit Barrages, get my Pestilence up, make sure Big Bad Voodoo's up at all times, as well as Soul Harvest for your toughness, and then just blow them all up after. I like to wait around 6 or 7 seconds or so. Just count in my head: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, blow up, and then just do it again. Now, one of the drawbacks of this build is the enemies do kind of have to be standing in place, which is why it's so important for your Piranhas to be there. So what you could also do is I like to start out opening up with Piranhas, because by the time this is done casting and doing its damage, your Piranhas will have cooled down. Hopefully a few enemies will have died, and with your Grave Injustice getting your cooldowns down a little bit lower, you'll be able to cast Piranhas again before those blow up and do your final damage. And timing that all correctly with your convention of elements cold is really crucial here, really important. Now, it's also really important to remember that when you do use your Spirit Barrage, the Manitou above you is attacking at the same time. So you can do 3 of these, let these expire, and then let your Manitou go to work. This is how I recommend you take down the Rift Guardians, is just let your Manitou do the work. Once it expires, all the damage that it has done will also blow up. It's not just with your Phantasm Rune, it is all Spirit Barrage runes. As you can see, it's just Spirit Barrage in general. So any Spirit Barrage form that it takes will explode, dealing 500% of the cumulative damage. So 500% times 6,000% weapon damage is cold. It's a pretty hefty amount of damage you can let your Manitou do there. So the skills that we are using for this, like I said, Spirit Barrage, obviously with the Manitou rune. This is going to have a Spectre above you that just casts bolts at nearby enemies for 6,000% weapon damage over 20 seconds. That's a lot of damage, so I recommend this rune. You already have access to all the other runes, basically, so might as well do this one. Locust Storm with Pestilence, so you make use of that Ring of Emptiness. Piranhas with Piranado for the CC. Soul Harvest with Languish. You need that toughness added. The Spirit Walk with Jaunt is really important to get around quickly, as well as get through walls and remove that body blocking mechanic. And then we got Big Bad Voodoo with Ghost Trance. This will give you an added toughness in a sense that it will reduce damage that enemies do, as well as give you guys 5% of your maximum life per second in a heal. Spirit Vessel, Brave Injustice, Swampland Attunement, and Creeping Death. These are the passive skills that I recommend. You could swap out your Creeping Death with your Confidence Ritual if you want. You are going to be pretty close. You don't have to be that close when you attack, though. So that's just one other thing you could do. So, but let's show you guys. I have a regular rift open already. I'm just going to jump in and show you guys how this works. You've all seen this before. This is the same build. I already came in here and killed a couple guys, but it's honestly is pretty much the same thing as you're used to. It's gonna sit and just blow stuff up. It's extremely easy. This will run so fast. Now, I know I mentioned in my zombie bears breakdown that the zombie bears could technically be a little bit faster than this, but I don't actually know. It's really toss up. Zombie bears, you can just toss down some zombie bears after you've got your wall of death up and just run around. Cast a zombie bear, run around, cast a zombie bear. This, you literally don't. You literally cast one thing and it will just shred everybody. So there is definitely a method to this madness. And that is it. That is that's the build. I mean, you guys have seen it before. I'm sure you have. It's very similar, but because we have Sacred Harvester now, we're able to push a little bit higher in our Greater Rifts. I think because we'll have added toughness. I highly recommend this build to be probably the #1 build for Witch Doctors. I don't think zombie bears are going to really add too much as far as competitive drive for other players to climb those ranks. But it is still a lot of fun. I hope Blizzard does something with zombie bears, but I guess we'll just have to wait and see. And that is it, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for tuning in to my Witch Doctor build video. Please be sure to check out my other videos. I have made videos on the Crusader, the Monk, the Wizard, and the Necromancer. I'm sure I'll be doing one on the Barbarian pretty soon, even the Demon Hunter, once Season 22 hits, hopefully pretty soon. The PTR should be ending soon. I know they keep extending it out to make little changes and fixes here and there, but I'm hoping to have it start at the beginning of November, maybe the first couple weeks of November. Make sure you guys check out my Twitter and follow me on my Twitch stream. I do stream every single day, so make sure you come check it out. I appreciate you taking the time to watch the video. Take care of yourselves, and we'll see you next time.